bawal na ang mag-inom sa kalye. Doon na nagagaling, number 1, ang away, number 2, ang sexual harassment. Bawal na. Kaya sabihan ko ang lahat, pasensyahan tayo. Pag kayo mag-inuman sa kalye, huhulihin namin kayo. So it's time to make the people feel safer about where they live.
Tonight's headlines: President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. set to tackle with Budget Committee the recommendations on the possible suspension or reduction of fuel excise tax.
Mitsubishi Motors discusses with President Marcos Jr. its plans to pursue local production of hybrid cars in the country.
328,000 tricycle drivers outside Metro Manila to receive cash aid starting April 8.
And U.S. President Donald Trump tells Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz, threatening strikes again. All these and more here on 13 News.
Good evening, I'm William Thio. We are bringing you the day's top stories that shape the country, straightforward, clear, and concise.
I'm Angela C. Under one flag with 3 mandates to inform, explain, and empower the nation. This is 13 News.
Heads up, motorists. Fuel prices are set to rise again starting tomorrow.
This round of oil price hikes comes amid ongoing tensions in the Middle East, which continue to impact global oil markets. Shell is implementing big-time increases. Diesel will go up by 19 pesos and 80 centavos per liter, gasoline by 5 pesos and 90 centavos, and kerosene by 9 pesos and 10 centavos.
Petron isn't far behind. Diesel will climb 18 pesos and 80 centavos per liter, gasoline by 4 pesos and 90 centavos, and kerosene by 8 pesos and 10 centavos. Meanwhile, to help cushion rising domestic oil prices, President Marcos Jr. will meet with the Development Budget Coordination Committee to discuss recommendations on the possible excise tax cut on petroleum products. The palace, meanwhile, assured continued supply of fuel after successful talks with Iran for safe passage of Philippine-bound vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Harley Valbuena reports.
The Development Budget Coordination Committee, or DBCC, is set to submit to President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. its recommendations on measures and policies amid soaring global oil prices, including the possible amount or percentage to be slashed from the fuel excise tax. According to Malacanang, the President will meet with the committee tomorrow to discuss these proposals.
Inassess po ang implication ng mga ng rising global oil prices at in-evaluate ang possible policy responses. Kasama na po rito ang measures on fuel excise taxes. Nag-formulate na po sila ng kanilang rekomendasyon.
The President is expected to immediately approve DBCC's recommendations if these are deemed beneficial to Filipinos. In terms of supply, Malacanang maintains that the agreement with Iran for the safe passage of Philippine-bound vessels through the Strait of Hormuz will be significantly beneficial as it ensures the continuous delivery of oil and even fertilizers. However, the palace clarified that this deal is not expected to bring down oil domestic prices as it mainly addresses supply security.
Sabi po ni Secretary Sharon Garin ng DOE, ito po ay patungkol sa safe passage ng ating Philippine carriage, Philippine-bound goods, and Philippine crew. So, hindi po pinag-uusapan dito ang halaga. Ang pinag-uusapan po dito ay yung patuloy na supply ng produktong petrolyo sa ating bansa.
The President earlier said the country has sufficient oil supply that could last up to 51 days. The palace also expressed confidence that engaging in discussions with Iran will not affect the Philippines' relations with the United States. Amid these developments, authorities are also dealing with the spread of misinformation online. Posts claiming an imminent energy lockdown, as well as another lockdown due to a supposed COVID-19 cicada variant, have been circulating on social media in recent days. The Presidential Communications Office has labeled these claims as fake news. PCO Secretary Dave Gomez warned that those who spread false information online to take advantage of the situation will be dealt with accordingly. The PCO's anti-fake news desk is now coordinating with the Department of Justice for the filing of charges against those responsible. Authorities are also working to identify the original source of the false posts. Anyone found guilty of publishing fake news may face up to 6 months of imprisonment with heavier penalties. Secretary Gomez assured zero tolerance for those disseminating false or fabricated stories regarding the energy security or supply and prices of goods, especially if driven by personal or political agendas. Harley Valbuena, IBC News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. supports the Bayanihan 3 bill, which seeks to provide both immediate and long-term solutions to the energy emergency. Currently, the bill is still being drafted, with Senator Sherwin Gatchalian clarifying that it will not simply focus on cash aid distribution for everyone, but will prioritize targeted support for the most vulnerable sectors.
Una yung source of funds. Kagaya nung COVID, inallow ang executive gamitin yung savings para i-reallocate. For example, kung umabot na tayo sa point na nag-stagflate, meaning bumagsak yung ating economic growth, tumaas ang inflation, so kailangan may nakahanda na tayong pondo. Of course, yung mga subsidies or ayuda.
Meanwhile, senators have expressed openness to possible joint oil exploration with China in the West Philippine Sea. Senate President pro tempore Ping Lacson said, any agreement must follow a 60-40 sharing arrangement in favor of the Philippines, which would reflect recognition of the country's sovereignty. The Senate also, in energy cooperation with Oman, expressed hope that this will strengthen the Philippines' oil reserves should the Middle East conflict persist.
Several government agencies continue to roll out aid and subsidies for vulnerable sectors amid rising oil prices. More than 1,000 fisher folk in Iloilo received 3,000 peso fuel vouchers each. Farmers in Benguet who are facing higher transport costs for trucks delivering vegetables to Metro Manila also received help. The Department of Agriculture deployed 19 trucks and is considering fuel subsidies to lower transport costs and protect farmers' income. Meanwhile, the Department of Social Welfare and Development is preparing cash aid for tricycle drivers outside Metro Manila starting April 8. About 328,000 tricycle drivers are expected to benefit with payout sites posted on DSWD's social media pages.
In other news, a 20,000-liter fuel tanker has been flagged for allegedly transferring gasoline in a residential area in Quezon City. The tanker was found along Scout Castor Street in Barangay Sacred Heart. The Bureau of Fire Protection warned that transferring or storing large volumes of fuel in residential areas poses serious fire risks. Authorities said the owner has been identified but has yet to formally cooperate. The tanker will remain in place until proof of compliance with fire safety regulations is provided.
And the tanker was impounded unless they can provide necessary permits for their activities.
The House Committee on Justice has issued a subpoena to Ombudsman Jesus Crispin Remulla in connection with Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment hearings. The committee is asking for copies of her statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth from 2007 to the present. The full report from Earl Tobias.
The House of Representatives has issued a subpoena to Ombudsman Crispin Remulla, directing him to personally appear before the House Justice Committee and submit certified true copies of Vice President Sara Duterte's Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth or SAL-N. The subpoena requires Remulla to present the documents on April 14 during the resumption of impeachment proceedings against the Vice President. Lawmakers are requesting copies of Duterte's SAL-N covering the periods of 2022 to 2025 2016 to 2022, and 2007 to 2013. These SALNs are considered a key piece of evidence, as alleged irregularities in the Vice President's financial disclosures form part of the impeachment complaints that have already progressed. Vice President Duterte has previously stood by the accuracy of her SALNs, while also questioning allegations of so-called unexplained wealth raised by several lawmakers. However, amid the intensifying impeachment issue, House Ways and Means Committee Vice Chairperson Rolando Valeriano pushed back against claims that Congress is overly focused on the impeachment proceedings at the expense of addressing the ongoing oil crisis.
Hindi totoo na nakakonsentrate kami sa impeachment. Constitutional mandate ng Kongreso 'yon. So wala naman kaming choice doon. May nag-file ng impeachment. On the other hand, hindi rin naman dapat man-neglect yung ibang mga trabaho namin as congressman, especially at this point of time na meron tayong emergency situation.
Meanwhile, Ombudsman Remulla said they are preparing plunder cases against late 1st District Representative Martin Romualdez and Senator Chis Escudero in connection with flood control projects. In a statement, the camp of Romualdez said they respect the process of the Ombudsman and will cooperate once the proceedings are initiated. However, they insisted that as of now, there is no evidence linking Romualdez to any ghost and substandard flood control project. Senator Escudero has yet to comment on the possible rap filing. Earl Tobias, IBC News.
To maintain lower crime rates, the Philippine National Police has launched the Safer Cities Initiative in Metro Manila. The program will enforce ordinances including bans on street drinking and shirtless roaming. Patrick Bupo has the report.
Criminality remains the third biggest concern among Filipinos, particularly in urban communities, according to the Department of the Interior and Local Government. To address rising focus on petty crimes, the Philippine National Police, along with other law enforcement agencies, has launched the Safer Cities Initiative starting in Metro Manila. The program will enforce local ordinances including bans on street drinking and walking shirtless, while curfew rules for minors will also be strictly applied.
So it's time to make the people feel safer about where they live. Bawal na ang mag-inom sa kalye. Doon na nagagaling, number 1, ang away, number 2, ang sexual harassment. Bawal na. Kaya sabihan ko ang lahat, pasensyahan tayo. Pag kayo mag-inuman sa kalye, huhulihin namin kayo.
Police visibility will be intensified in schools, transport hubs, markets, malls, and tourist destinations with assistance desks and strengthened patrols in business districts and high-traffic zones. The PNP said the safety of students is a priority, with police personnel deployed in schools, and the public is encouraged to call 911 if no police presence observed.
We will make the students feel safe. We will make the parents feel safe. Kaya ang trabaho ng pulis ay ng trabaho ng barangay. Kung wala pong pulis sa inyong eskwelahan, ay tumawag po kayo sa 911 at alertuhin nyo kami kung bakit wala doon at magdi-deploy kami kaagad.
Some residents have expressed support for the initiative.
Natural lang yun para madala. Siyempre, sa panahon ngayon, mga kabataan ngayon, puro mga nagiinom ngayon, mga nuhuli mga nagiinom. Saka sana, bukas-bukasan yung pag-iinom nila para sila hindi mahuli.
Pabor sa akin yung mahuli yung mga nagiinuman. Okay lang po sa akin. Okay lang sa akin yun na mapagbawalan yung mga nagiinom sa labas at mahuli sila, matikitan sila. Para example din po yan sa mga pasaway po.
The DILG said the Safer Cities Initiative will soon expand to other major urban centers nationwide. Anchored on PBBM's Public Safety Directive, the program aims to strengthen community security and restore a sense of safety among Filipinos. Patrick Gupo, IBC News.
Hot and humid weather is expected to persist with temperatures reaching dangerous levels in some parts of the country, according to Pag-asa. Today, the heat index in Metro climbs to 38 degrees Celsius, while San Jose Occidental Mindoro continues to experience extreme heat, with temperatures hitting 42 degrees Celsius. To beat the heat, some local government units step up. In Manila, the LGU has opened all swimming pool areas in 6 districts to the public. This move is aimed at providing residents free and accessible areas to enjoy the summer safely. Up next, the Philippine economy is seen to post second highest growth in the ASEAN this year. More stories coming when we return. This is 13 News.
Pangarap mong maging milyonaryo? Sa PCSO Lotto, magkakatotoo! Mas pinasaya, mas pinabongga, mas pinalaki ang mga jackpot prizes. Araw-araw ang bola, kaya more chances of winning sa PCSO Lottery Draws. Lunes hanggang Linggo, tuwing 2 p.m., 5 p.m., and 9 p.m.
You are watching the live traffic situation at the North Luzon Expressway or NLEX. As of tonight, movement at the Balintawak, Mindanao, and Bocaue toll plazas remain light. Same goes with the San Fernando northbound and southbound. According to NLEX, vehicle volume this Holy Week remained manageable. But compared to the previous year, this year's volume was 10 to 15% lower. Meanwhile, at the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange or the PITX, around 2.6 million passengers were recorded this Holy Week. This is 100,000 higher compared to the number of commuters last 2025.
Meanwhile, motorists have lauded the government's carpooling program implemented amidst the recent spike in fuel prices. The MMDA reassures the public that participants will be strictly monitored to ensure safety and compliance with the rules. As part of fuel conservation, some drivers have adopted energy-saving hacks like using an electric fan inside the car to reduce air conditioner usage. Some also switched to bikes for their daily commutes. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. met Mitsubishi Corporation President and CEO Katsuya Nakanishi in a courtesy call at Malacanang today. Among the topics discussed were plans for the production of hybrid electric vehicles under the Electric Vehicle Incentive Strategy Program. The president said the partnership aims to push investment for jobs, boost subway systems, expand wind energy, and improve digital services. Earlier, the president also led the oath-taking of newly elected national officers of the Vice Mayor's League of the Philippines. In his speech, he highlighted challenges faced by local governments, including reliance on national funding, lack of infrastructure, and slow internet connections. He then assured continued national government support. The Philippines is projected to post the second highest economic growth in the ASEAN, according to the ASEAN Plus 3 Macroeconomic Research Office. The country's economy is expected to grow by 5.3% this year, next to Vietnam's 7.4%. It is expected to outpace neighboring countries such as Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. The number could have grown had it not been for the conflict in the Middle East, said AMRO's group head.
The Bureau of Internal Revenue has issued a new circular simplifying tax breaks for private sector education partnerships. The revenue memorandum provides clear guidelines to streamline the availment of tax incentives. The circular clarifies previous regulations following concerns over compliance requirements and procedural gaps. It also sets straightforward rules for submitting documents, accreditation, certification, and reporting, making it easier for the private sector to access education-related tax incentives.
After a short break following the Miami Open, Filipina tennis star Alex Ayala is ready to compete against world number 87 Julia Grabher in the 2026 Upper Austria Ladies Linz. Ayala, now at world number 46, will first time battle Grabher in the first round tomorrow. The winner of the match will advance to the round of 16, facing world number 4 and 2017 French Open champion Jelena Ostapenko. Meanwhile, Filipino gymnast Eldru Yulo won the bronze medal in the Artistics Gymnastics World Cup in Cairo, Egypt. Yulo secured the victory with a score of 14.000 as he advances to the finals after placing 5th in the qualification round with a scoring of 13.900.
The conflict in the Middle East continues as U.S. President Donald Trump warns he will unleash hell in Iran. Despite this, the Islamic Revolutionary Guards maintain they will continue to seal off the Strait of Hormuz against hostile countries. The details of this story and other global news from Holy Bakay's report.
Footage captured the moment an airstrike by the United States-Israeli joint forces struck one of the newly built bridges in Iran. The attack followed President Donald Trump's threat to unleash hell in Iran with expanded military campaign. He further warned that he would pursue his earlier ultimatum to target Iran's major power grids if his demands to open the Strait of Hormuz are not met. The Iranian Revolutionary Guards responded, saying they would initiate a widespread retaliatory operation if civilian sites are targeted. Amid the exchange of threats between the two countries, the Islamic regime continues its air raid on U.S. military stations in the Middle East. Israel also reported a barrage of Iranian missiles in Haifa, which left the city battered. Another Israeli strikes in Beirut, Lebanon killed at least 11 people, including a 4-year-old. Meanwhile, Iranian and U.S. mediators have reportedly been discussing a 45-day ceasefire plan as part of a two-phase deal, a move to permanently end the war. However, the IRCG remains firm it will not abide by Trump's conditions while talks continue. In the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV once more called for global peace amid the ongoing hostilities in the Middle East during his first Easter Mass address.
Chi ha in mano armi le deponga. Chi ha il potere di scatenare guerre scelga la pace, non una pace perseguita con la forza, ma con il dialogo, non con la volontà di dominare l'altro, ma di incontrarlo.
Thousands of worshippers flocked to St. Peter's Basilica in observance of the end of the Holy Week. Holy Bakay, IBC News.
Despite tensions in the Middle East, the Philippine Air Force has officially launched Cope Thunder Philippines 2026-1. It is a joint military exercise aimed at strengthening air defense capabilities and interoperability with allied forces, as well as maintaining regional security. The drills, running until April 17, involve international observers from Australia, Thailand, South Korea, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Japan. Here are the results of the 9 p.m. draws from the PCSO. For the Mega Lotto 645, the winning numbers are 13, 33, 37, 10, 44, and 19 with a jackpot prize of 15 million pesos. For the Grand Lotto 655, the winning combination is 54, 28, 47, 36, 35, and 29 with a jackpot prize of 45 million pesos. For the 4D Lotto, the winning combination in exact order is 8, 4, 5, and 5. For the 3D Lotto, the winning numbers are 6, 3, and 5. And finally, for the 2D Lotto draw, the winning numbers are 20 and 19. There are no winners for the Mega Lotto 645 and Grand Lotto 655. Tomorrow, April 7, voter registration will resume. Commission on Elections or COMELEC says the announcement comes after COMELEC offices were closed during the Holy Week. All eligible citizens are encouraged to register nationwide with registrations open until May 18.
Also tomorrow, NASA's Artemis II mission is set for a historic lunar flyby. The spacecraft will enter the moon's sphere at approximately 12:41 a.m. Eastern Time on April 6 or 12:41 p.m. Philippine Standard Time on April 7. The Orion is expected to surpass the record of the Apollo 13 in 1970 for the farthest distance from Earth traveled by any human. You know what I find especially exciting about this 4-crew mission is that we'll be able to see parts of the moon that haven't been seen by the human eye.
Yes, and you know what? That's one of the things on my bucket list is actually to finally be able to go to the moon, which of course is not going to happen in my lifetime, but it's free to dream, right?
We can all dream.
Yes. And those are the latest from the IBC Newsroom this evening.
We'll continue to monitor the stories that matter and bring you updates as they develop. I'm Angela C.
And I'm William Thio. This is 13 News. Good night, everyone.